Hey guys, I just wanted to post a quick update on the Meck because there have been so many posts and photos and comments flowing back and forth. I just want to get everybody up to speed on it. I have not found the source of the problem. I have several hours of footage of me thinking I found the problem, but invariably, I was wrong. I'll go over what I've done in a moment. I also wanted to mention in this video that I just acquired this minty Suncor TVA92. It's a companion piece to the Suncor VG91, which you've seen me use in many videos. The VG91 is basically a test pattern generator. You can get out just a pure video signal, but it's only 1 volt peak to peak. I mention that because one of the things I'd like to do for troubleshooting this Meck is to bypass the tuner and the IF and the detector and go right to the video amp with the video signal, but I need something with more than 1 volt peak to peak. That's where this guy comes in. This hooks up to the VG91 and provides a host of output signals. You can directly drive the vertical output, the horizontal output, and the video up to, I think, 300 volts peak to peak. And you can ring flybacks and yokes, and has a bias power supply for doing alignments and all kinds of great stuff. Just one problem. You need a special cable. That's why I have these set up this way, so you can see the front of this and the back of this. This DB15 connector, they call it the synchronizing signal, needs to connect to the back of this. Without it, you can't do anything with this. There's not even a power switch on this. You can plug it in and it won't do anything. I don't have it. And in fact, I noticed most of them for sale. I've been looking for one of these for quite a while. And this one showed up in such nice condition, I figured I'd take a chance on it. But most of them, including this one, don't have that cable. And I haven't found any info about that cable online yet. And the manuals for these seem to be pretty hard to come by. I found 1 or 2 places that sell them, but I'm not crazy about committing to dropping 20, 30 bucks on a manual that may not even contain the info that I need. They both have a little drop-down thing of all the basic stuff of how to use it, so you can pretty well get away without the manual. But I need to know the specs on that connector. It might just be straight through 15 wire, like ribbon cable, connector to connector, which I can buy or make very easily. But I don't know if any of the wires are twisted around or crossing over from one pin to another or shorted together or specially shielded or any of that stuff. So until I get that, kind of stuck. Now back to the Meck. I have several hours of me trying out all your suggestions, some of my own theories, some I got from other folks online, and one by one they were all dispelled or had minimal impact. Alright, so one thing a lot of people were clamoring about was the obvious power transformer up on top of the chassis that just powers these 3 tubes. I did disconnect it. I did power these 3 tubes directly from a battery. It did help. It did not eliminate the issue, but it did help. I also removed the big old filter choke that was down here and replaced it with this power resistor and upped the filter capacitance in several places. That really didn't make any difference. I've tried swapping out every tube several times. I've tested them all for leakage on several testers. Made no difference. I've tried rearranging, moving around wires. No difference. I have probed around with the scope. And one thing I definitely can confirm is after the detector, it gets a little goofy. Well, a lot of this stuff in this set is kind of goofy. By that I mean the way they arrange the components, not the actual circuit design. So this is the detector, and the output of it you would think would go right over to the video amp. You want to have the shortest run possible to minimize distortion, right? No, it goes through this peaking coil up to this terminal strip with another peaking coil, another cap that links down to the video amp. At this point, there is a tiny amount of hum in with the video signal. When you get to the output of this tube, there's considerably more hum. And then it goes over and drives the picture tube, and there's some hum on it, but it's not overwhelming. And that's not surprising, because when you look at the image, if there was a ton of hum, you would see bright and dark bands on the screen. It would be really obvious, and we don't. But what we do have is, after the video amp, the signal also goes over to the sync separator amplifier. By the time you get to the output of this, there is a ton of hum on it. So we go from small amount of hum, moderate amount of hum, tons of hum. So what's been so puzzling to me is, why is the hum getting amplified so much more than the rest of the signal? Is it because these amps are more efficient at lower frequencies, or is more hum being injected at every stage? These are two 6AU6s. I've gone over the circuit and the ground connections, and everything looks okay. Something else I tried doing, and I've seen in other designs and I've heard about, especially in shortwave receivers, is running the 6AL5 tube lean by throwing a resistor in parallel with the filament can help reduce hum. I tried that, and the hum got much worse because it lowered the efficiency of the detector diode, and the signal-to-noise ratio got worse. In other words, it lowered the signal and boosted the noise. I've tried adding a shield to the CRT. I've tried swapping out the CRT. I've gone over the sync circuits. The sawtooths are pretty darn clean. And I also determined that my high voltage probe can do AC. And I checked for hum on the high voltage side of things, and there really isn't any. So I don't think the issue lies down in here. So that comes back to, well, if there's no hum in the sawtooth driving the deflection plates, how can the image be wiggly? I think it's the sync circuits, because the sync signal coming in very much has a lot of ripple on it. So that'd be a great thing to be able to use this to inject some of the signals I need, bypassing some of the existing circuit. So I think I'm going to hold off on banging my head much more on this set until I get that device working. Because otherwise I've spent hours on this set just trying stuff, and none of it's really gotten me anywhere. What's really frustrating too is a lot of things have helped a little bit. Adding more filtering helped a little bit. DC on the tuner filaments helped a little bit. Lifting the CRT and moving it away from the chassis helps a little bit. But one thing that is really startling is when I have the set running, by the way, the ripple gets worse after it warms up a little bit. That's why I fooled myself a few times. I turn it on, as soon as the image appeared, it looked better. And I think, oh, I found it. But no, after a minute or two, it starts to get worse, which makes me think again, tubes and HK leakage. But I can't find any. But what's interesting is when the set's warmed up, you've got a test pattern on there, and you turn the set off. For an instant before it fades away, it looks perfect. Which is a great indicator that all the circuits are working fine, and it is hum from the power getting into the set. I do have a few other theories I have not tested yet. One is I haven't actually checked the filament voltage on any individual tube. There's two series strings in this, and this is one of the dropper resistors here, and it's one down here. The cold resistance on these checks okay, but maybe the voltage isn't being divided evenly, and maybe these 6AU6s are running too hot, which could induce HK leakage that you wouldn't see in a tube tester. You'd only see in the actual set while it's running. So that is definitely something I want to check. Oh, and one last thing. As far as the possibility that that's just as good as this set works, I did find some videos online, I think I posted a link to one, of a teletone set that's it's about an 80-90% similar design. The main difference being the tuner and some subtleties in the power supply, and it has no ripple. The image looks perfect. So I figured if that set can work, this set should be able to work. I'll leave you off with a demonstration of what happens when you turn the power off. So we've got our own old friend, the ripple, slowly snaking its way up. Alright, so let's look at this for a while. See, things are stretched out going through here. Now I'm going to turn it off. See how that snaps into a perfect grid for a moment? That's how the set should be working. So here we go on, wiggly, off. So there's obviously the line, 60 hertz line, is getting into the set. I look forward to your theories.